Hello, my name is Mike Rayner and I'm with eWrench. This video is about how to install VirtualBox into Ubuntu 12.04. VirtualBox allows you to run multiple operating systems on a single computer. The original computer is known as a host and the additional operating systems are known as guests. The outcomes for this video include download the latest version of Oracle VirtualBox, download Oracle VirtualBox extensions, install VirtualBox into Ubuntu 12.04 using the Software Center, install GNOME System Tools using the Software Center. This is a tool that you're going to need or actually helps you assist to manage VBox user and VBox SF for shared folder groups. Install VirtualBox extensions, and then finally configure the VBox user and VBox SF groups using GNOME System Tools. Requirements: Ubuntu 12.04 operating system, an internet connection, and enough memory or random access memory to run both your host operating system and your virtual operating system at the same time. Additional info, of course, is at VirtualBox. There is a disclaimer in this video. In order to create this video, VirtualBox was installed on a virtual machine. This allowed for multiple retakes and cleaner screenshots. You should install VirtualBox on your host machine. VirtualBox does not support embedded levels of virtual machines, and the basic reason for installing it here in this video was simply to make a better video. So make sure you install this on your host machine, otherwise it may not work. VirtualBox can be downloaded from the Ubuntu Software Center. Key in VirtualBox, one word, and it's right here, VirtualBox, and let's go take a quick look at it and we'll get some more info from it. You'll see that it's version 4.1.12. Currently VirtualBox actually is delivering VirtualBox version 4.2 point something, so this is not your latest version. I'm not going to go install this, but show you how to use the Software Center to install the latest version of VirtualBox. So for now, let's close the Software Center. In order to install VirtualBox, we need to know whether we have a 32-bit or 64-bit machine if we're not downloading it from the Software Center. In order to do that, we go to System Settings and go to Details. And here's our machine, VBox Ubuntu. And operating system type is 32-bit, so we're going to download the 32-bit VirtualBox. If you had a 64-bit machine, you probably download the 64-bit VirtualBox. So let's go ahead and close this. Let's go to the browser, and here we are at the VirtualBox website, virtualbox.org. We go to the Downloads page, and here's different platforms for Windows, for OS, for Linux. Click on that. We're going to use 12.04. We're going to use the 386, which is a 32-bit. AMD 64 is a 64-bit. So click on this, and we're going to save the file. Once VirtualBox is downloaded, we'll go back to the Downloads page. We're going to get the VirtualBox extensions that provides support for USB 2.0 devices, VirtualBox, a remote desktop protocol, and Pixie Boot for Intel cards. So we're going to go click on this all platforms, and we're going to save file. So all the downloads have completed. So let's go ahead and close this. We'll go open up the home folder or Nautilus, and we'll go to the downloads, and here we have VirtualBox. It's a Debian package, which means that it will install with a Software Center. That's a .deb right there, so we'll just click on it. In my case, I'll have to double click on it, and the Software Center will come up. VirtualBox 4.2, click on Install. And of course, you've got authentication. authenticate. So we'll watch the progress bar. Once VirtualBox has been installed, as long as we're here, let's go take a look at this Software Center. Click on All Software again, and we'll get to the search. There's something that you need installed to help configure VirtualBox, and that is GNOME System Tools. GNOME System-Tools. And it's cross-platform configuration utilities for GNOME. We need to also install this because we have to do one configuration setting to add the user to the VBox user groups. So let's go ahead and install this also. Once it's installed, got the green arrow. So let's go ahead and close this. To install this extension pack, we need to log back in and log back out so it can find where VirtualBox is at. Rather than log back in, I'm just simply going to do a shutdown and reboot, a restart. It'll also allow us to find the the GNOME System Tools when we restart this. Here we've restarted, and we go to our home folder again, to the downloads page, and now let's install this extension pack. Notice that's come in with a nice green color this time, so it's ready to be installed. So we just click on install. It asks that you submit. I agree. Click OK. The extension pack was installed successfully. So now let's go ahead and close this, and I'm going to move this up here. Here we have Oracle VM VirtualBox Manager, and I'm just quickly going to create a new machine. And the purpose is not to show you how to create a new machine, but actually how to do some configuration that you're going to have to do. So we'll call this WinXP. Next, give it about 256 megabytes. Click on next, create a virtual, create, next, create. There are videos that show you how to do this. Now the problem is, if we go right here, and you'll get a VirtualBox warning, fail to access the USB subsystem. So we'll simply click OK right here because you're going to have to do a configuration setting. This configuration setting is basically the GNOME system utilities that you installed earlier. We go to User, and here it is, Users and Groups. Go to Manage Groups, and scroll down, and we got VBox Users, Properties. Here's the group members, and you can add how many group members you want. OK. You'll have to enter your authentication. Authenticate. Now you notice also is VBox SF, and this is shared folders. So let's change the properties on that. Also, if you want to share a folder between the virtual machine and your regular machine, click OK. Close. Close. If we go back to it right now, you'll notice that we still get the VirtualBox warning. Basically, what has to happen is you've got to log in and log back out for that to go away. So we'll log out. We'll log back in. And now if we want to start something or change our settings or anything, we can go ahead and do all our changes. We've got the actual permissions to do this. The next video, I'm just going to install Windows XP in this, and rather than show you through the whole installation, I'm just going to show you actually running inside the screen. Here is a Windows XP virtual machine running inside an Ubuntu 12.04 VirtualBox installation. When you do your installation of VirtualBox, please do it on your host or hardware computer. Although this installation into a virtual machine for video presentation seems to be fully functional, installation of VirtualBox into your host system or your host operating system is the way to go. If you need more information on installing an Ubuntu virtual machine with VirtualBox, there are additional videos on this channel. So up comes the welcome screen. We can go to Start. There aren't any programs on this control panel. The control panel will, and you can go ahead and modify this machine. As I stated, this is fully functional, but the best way to install is into your hardware or host operating system computer. Want to see how to create a virtual machine? There are videos on this channel dealing with Ubuntu virtual machines. Thank you.